where is your focus? Because you see, in this life, there are always going to be things that are sent our way. We're always going to be attacked because, in this world we have an enemy, and this enemy hates us. His job is to steal, kill, and destroy, and he really, really does not like us. So he's gonna keep sending storms, problems, challenges, trials your way. He's always gonna do that as long as you're in this earth. And you see, your focus also determines how well you are able to handle that situation. What do I mean? Like, let me give you a story from the Bible here. When Jesus sent out after feeding the 5,000 guys, Jesus sent the disciples ahead because Jesus needed to go and pray or something like that, yeah. So he was praying, and then when he was done, the disciples have already gone a far way off, and Jesus knew where they were. So he decided to walk on the water to go and meet up with them. And there was a storm where they were at that time. He knew there was going to be a storm. He knew that it wasn't going to be a calm night, but he still sent them either way. So this just lets you know that first, God allows these things to happen in your life. They're not to destroy you, but they're to build you up here. But then, so now these guys, so now they saw Jesus on the water, and then they're like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. Because, someone walking on water, that's crazy, eh? So now they saw him, and then Jesus was like, don't be afraid, it's I. And then Peter was like, Lord, if it's you, call me to come to where you are. So now Peter, he starts walking on the water as well. See, where was his focus? His focus was on Jesus at the time. So now he's walking, he's gotten off the boat. Now he gets so close to where Jesus is that Jesus is able to reach him. Okay, let me keep going, yeah. So now Peter got really close to Jesus, and then now Peter, his focus he started to look at the storm around him. He started to look at the situation that was surrounding him. And what happens? He began to sink because he started seeing the storm, and he started getting scared. So then now he asked Jesus to save him, and of course Jesus did. But he was so close to Jesus that he was able to reach out to him immediately and get him. What was the difference though? Why did he sink? The storm was still there even while he was walking on the water. The storm hadn't gone. It didn't become calm immediately. Now he was walking on. No, the storm was still there. The storm was still fighting against them, yeah. But the reason he sank was his focus. He began to look around. He began to see the situation around him, and it began to discourage him. It began to make him feel fearful. And you see, the reason he was able to walk on the water was because he was just stayed on Jesus. He was just focused on Jesus. So now you see, in this life, it's the same thing. We keep looking at the situation around us, and it makes us so fearful. It makes us so doubtful because we're like, man, look at this problem, look at this challenge, look at this situation. Then we sink, and then it's like and then we sink. So it's kind of like a repeated cycle. It keeps happening over and over again. But see, the thing is, when we learn to keep our focus on Jesus the whole time, because it's not like Jesus gets rid of the storm all the time. He doesn't get rid of it immediately. But see, the thing is, when you keep your eyes focused on Jesus, when you stay on Jesus, you will keep walking on that water. Because there's no other reason why Peter began to sink other than his focus. Because when he was focused on Jesus, he was walking on the water. When he kept his eyes away from Jesus and he started to look around at what was going on, that's when he began to lose faith. He began to lose he began to just get discouraged. And then even Jesus said, you of little faith, why did you doubt? Why did Peter doubt? It's because he started looking at the situation around him. His focus wasn't stayed on Jesus. But you see, the thing is, Jesus isn't always going to get rid of the storm. He's going to help you through it. But you see, the thing, when you focus on him, you don't even notice the storm around you, because the storm hadn't died down. It didn't disappear. The storm was still the same. It was only after Jesus got on the boat that the storm began to clear up. But the whole time, he was able to walk on the water when he was focused on Jesus. But when he took his eyes off Jesus and began to look around, that's when you see, oh my gosh, he actually started to sink. And you see, your attitude also determines your altitude. You get? Because you can't handle a situation on the level you see it at. Otherwise, how can you go above and beyond the situation? So now you have to call a higher power. You have to call Jesus to come and help you through that situation, because he's the one who can take you far higher than whatever situation you're going through, and you'll be able to deal with it at a much better in a much better way, because now you're able to think properly. Jesus has kept your mind. It says in his word, you keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you or focused on you, or something like that. Meaning, when you focus on Jesus, when you keep your eyes on Jesus, like, it doesn't matter what's going on around, but if you keep your eyes on Jesus, you will find yourself going through things. You will find yourself soaring so high above all these problems that you won't even notice that there was a storm. I mean, yeah, the storm will come, but you see, you'll be so far above, you'll be so far higher above the situation that it'll be like, yeah, the storm is there, but you see, now you're higher than it. You're just looking down on it. It even says in the word, those who wait on the Lord will mount up on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So now the storm isn't going to disappear. But see, now if you wait on the Lord, if you trust in the Lord, if you basically call unto the Lord, he will help you out of that situation. Now you're able to be above that situation. Now you're able to see, you're able to look down at the situation and actually handle it in a way that is able to bring you the best result. You get? Now you're not being overly emotional, you're not overreacting, you're not in your feelings, and you know how sometimes when you're just in your feelings and then you a situation that could have been handled so well, now it even becomes hard for you to deal with it, because now everything is just getting to you. And the thing is, you need that spiritual coat of protection around you that only God can provide for you. So now it's all about God. That's the thing. It's all about God. He's the one who gives us the protection. He's the one who helps us in everything. We just have to call out to him and focus on him. And we'll realize that all these situations and trials that are troubling us, man, you'll notice that now they're not even they're not that big of a deal anymore. Now you can actually take it on and win, because in Jesus, the victory is already yours. So now when you rely on Jesus, when you count on Jesus, when you call out to Jesus, when you focus on Jesus, these things aren't really that big of a deal. You realize that, man, I was here stressing for nothing. I was here tripping for nothing. Because God, when you call him, he's going to handle the situation for you. I mean, of course, not every time, because God has his own ways and his own way. He has his own things. He does things his own way. You get? So now he won't all the time get you out of the situation. He won't just pull you out. Sometimes that's